from your perspective, when you compare running, for instance, versus cycling, like how would you compare like 1 hour if you would go if in the training plan is 1 hour of running it and you want to mix it up and you go for cycling, like how long you would go for cycling? Or maybe another question, like if you don't feel if you feel maybe a little tired, would it be okay to substitute the running workout, the roller ski workout with cycling? And how long would you go just to get that training, at least the training benefit from it?
I think it depends on the terrain and the type of cycling. First of all, I think if you're going on trails on mountain bike, a lot of times it's a lot harder to keep heart rate down. If you're talking about like a gravel or a road bike cruise, like on flatter terrain, then I definitely think like an hour run is not going to be the same stimulus, maybe, especially if you're not used to cycling. If it's very intermittent, typically we'll find like heart rate doesn't actually like respond as quickly. So you'll be exercising at a lower heart rate if you're not super used to it. But I do think there's something like if you're just kind of walking the dog on flat terrain, it's probably not going to be as hard. And so I probably would add a little time on there. I think at the end of the day, if we're just looking at heart rate data and like perceived effort, a lot of times mountain biking, I would give like an even amount of time training wise. Um, if you agree with that.
Yeah, I think that can be the case with like really tough mountain biking where it's like a 45-minute climb from the parking lot before you really get a rest. But some mountain bike trails are so like flowy and stuff. Um, it's just different. I think it's just a different stimulus, and you have to be conscious of that. But that with that being said, I do think like if a higher percentage of your hours are coming from roller skiing and cycling, the like often, at least at the elite level, I think the hours will be higher for those athletes as opposed to athletes that live somewhere where they tend to run a lot more of their like total volume. And I think that's a little bit dependent on where each of the athletes live. Like in Anchorage, the mountain running is so good that we did a lot of our volume on foot running. And then say somewhere like Steamboat here, the roller skiing's not as good, but the mountain bike trails are really good. So you get volume through those avenues. So it's a little bit like where you live, what you're gonna do. Like I think in Vermont, it seems like the roller skiing's really good, so they have probably a pretty high volume of roller ski time. So like just comparing hours from athlete to athlete, it's not apples to apples. So I think that's like just an important thing to think about. Like your 20 hours might be different than my 20 hours of training. So, um, but in general, probably running is like the highest like impact, hardest thing. So like maybe the best bang for your buck. Like if you only have 45 minutes on your lunch hour to get out for a workout, running's probably the most efficient use of that time.
Mhm. I don't think there's one rule of thumb. I've heard in the past, like it's you just double your time on the bike, so it's 2 hours instead of one. And I think from my experience doing a lot of cycling, that's not always true. I think it depends on factors. So that's not maybe not a black and white answer for you.
Yeah.